It was a dull moonless evening in the little Serbian town of Svetska. My associate Anna and I were heading back home, following a monotonous day, and chose to take the alternate way through the back street of the basilica. We murmured a tune to sit back. The just sound going with us was a delicate rearranging of leaves under our feet. The roads were unfilled, with the exception of a couple of homeless felines beginning around in the shadows. I twisted down and took care of them around 50% of my sandwich from lunch. As we approached the end of the road, a chill ran down my spine. The feline began murmuring and shouting in fear, then ran past us. It was then that we saw her, a lady moving straight ahead. She was remaining on the opposite side of the road, enlightened simply by the gleaming light of a close-by street light. At first I thought she was a road entertainer, dressed in conventional Serbian dress, with a long streaming skirt that influenced with all her developments. However, as we drew nearer, I saw that something was off. Her developments were unnatural, jerky, and overstated. Her face was vacuous, her eyes empty. We pivoted and stimulated our speed, needing to put some distance between us. Yet, the moving woman followed, her developments turning out to be more furious. So we ran. We attempted to lose her, however she was right behind us. What's more, Anna stumbled and fell. I proved unable. Quit running, I thought back. Delayed fingers connected and gotten Anna by the shoulder, her nails diving into her tissue. She battled to break free. In any case, the moving lady was major areas of strength for excessively. I shouted out of resentment, reviling the outsider. Furthermore, went to free Anna. The odd lady grinned from one ear to another and delivered her. She promptly got me. Her hold fixed, and I could feel her hot breath on the rear of my neck. She murmured something in a language I didn't have the foggiest idea. However, regardless of whether I don't figure I would have had the option to grasp the franticness in her voice. She pushed me to the ground. As she moved around me, I felt a sense of overpowering fear. I stayed there, frozen in fear. The lady kept on moving with a beauty and smoothness that appeared to be heavenly. Her developments were wild, and her face was twisted into a twisted smile. I made an effort not to focus on her and looked around for a getaway. Then she took out a blade, and I knew that I was within the sight of something abhorrent, something outside my ability to grasp. The moving woman appeared to be in a daze, lost in her very own universe, yet she was in good company. Out of nowhere I heard a shout coming from behind me. I went to see Anna being hauled away by two figures wearing dark. They were unremarkable, featureless shadows, their developments quiet and quick. I attempted to pursue them, however the moving woman helped me back with a strength that opposed her little figure. Anna's shouts reverberated through the void, roads developing fainter and fainter, until they disappeared totally. I was abandoned with a moving woman, her developments developing more furious by the second. That's what I knew. Whether I didn't move away soon, I would face a similar outcome as my companion. With an eruption of adrenaline, I figured out how to break free and run as quick as I could the other way. I didn't think back until I had reached the security of my own high-rise. What's more, when I did, I really, truly thought I saw the lady drifting in the air somewhere far off. As I bobbled with my keys, I could feel the moving woman's eyes drilling into the back of my head. Yet, when I accepted one final look as I shut the entryway, she was gone. I shot it close and ran inside, and terrified as I called Anna's mobile phone, there was no reaction. I called a couple of additional times and each call went directly to voice message. 1,000 considerations were going through my head. Perhaps she had the option to battle them off and take off, yet dropped her telephone all the while. Maybe it was at that point protected at home and dropped in fatigue. Or then again, perhaps she isn't getting on the grounds that she can't. Then Anna at last called me back. Also, they murmured in help. Yet, when I picked up the telephone, all I heard was the sound of weighty relaxing. And afterward the unknown dialect. I felt fear in the pit of my stomach, so I hung up on whoever that was and right away called the police. They let me know they'd be at my place in 5 minutes. I sat on my lounge chair shaking, and then some, during the time until I would be secured. The hairs on the rear of my neck stood up. I investigated at my gallery entryway. Also, there she was, the moving woman, holding Anna's head in one hand and her horrendous blade with the other. I almost blacked out. She recently continued moving while at the same time scratching the glass entryway with her blade. Her moves were more whimsical as I observed her move from one side to another. I was entranced. Regardless of my trepidation, I was unable to turn away. It was as though I was enthralled with her, enchanted by her dance. I gradually got up, strolled over, slid the entryway open and let her in, and had lost control of my body. We began moving together. Our eyes were locked on one another. The moving woman wasn't like anything I had at any point experienced. Her developments were shocking and agitating. Furthermore, her eyes appeared to pierce through my very soul, and she pulled up her blade to the side of my neck and murmured in her language again. I needed to shout and punch her, however I couldn't. Then we heard the police alarms, my redeeming quality, as they ran up the steps and began beating on my entryway. The moving woman kissed me goodbye on the cheek, then, at that point, leaped out the overhang into the night. I gazed into the haziness. The main sound was the beating of my heart, and afterward I swooned. The following morning I awakened in the medical clinic. I sat up in bed, perspiring and shaking. I stayed there, lost in my viewpoints, as the specialist stepped through a couple of examinations and released me. I got some information about Anna and the moving woman. Also, they saw me confounded and yet again checked my head as I left. I called Anna's family. I didn't have the foggiest idea how to make sense of what had happened to their girl. In any case, as we talked, I understood something unusual. Anna's family didn't appear to recall what her identity was. Maybe she had never existed. I attempted to dismiss it as an unusual incident. However, the more I contemplated it, the more it grieved me. And afterward I recollected the peculiar language the moving woman had addressed me. So I scoured the web and addressed local people for any signs that could shed light on the strange lady. It worked out that the moving woman was an evil presence, a strong element fit for having those it experienced, compelling them to dance until they passed on from weariness or were consumed by franticness. The nondescript shadows that took a do were her cronies. I realized I needed to follow through with something, so I begun to learn all that I would be able about her. Her shortcomings. I set myself up for the unavoidable standoff. I went to the church building where I first experienced the moving woman and paused. It was a dull moonless night similar as the one when I previously experienced her, yet this time I was equipped with my insight. She showed up out of nowhere. I persevered and confronted the evil presence head on. The fight was savage. Also, on occasion it appeared to be like the moving woman had the advantage. Yet, I wouldn't give in, drawing on all my solidarity, and afterward in a last explosion of energy I hit her with a strong blow, sending her reeling in reverse. Briefly there was quiet. Furthermore, I felt that I had won. However, at that point, with a thunder, she jumped forward, her body bending and reshaping in an unnatural dance. I prepared myself for the most horrendously awful, prepared to confront whatever the evil spirit had available, and recall that evil spirits could be debilitated with the force of confidence. Thus I started to discuss the requests my grandma had shown me as a kid. As I asked, her developments turned out to be more drowsy, and afterward, in a blinding glimmer of light, she was no more, abandoning me, remaining in the murkiness. The memory of that evening still torment me right up to the present day. I don't have the foggiest idea what the moving woman needed for me. I discovered that there are things in this world that oppose clarification, driving us to defy the constraints of our own mental stability. Eventually, there was no getting away. The Serbian moving woman, she had asserted me as her own. Also, I was ill-fated to be her timeless dance accomplice.